Hi everyone, my name is Gina Paulus and I am very excited to welcome you to the Homebodies Fitness Show today. Today we have a very special workout. It is a full body routine with a focus on core strength, but also incorporating lots of arm and leg strength so we really get a full body effect. I have Hailey here with me and she's going to do some of the exercises. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So please tell me a little bit about why you are interested in learning a workout like this.
Well, you know, something that I can do at home would be great.
Okay.
Something that I can incorporate into my daily routine in the living room when my son's down for a nap.
Yeah.
You know, something that is manageable. I'm just excited to incorporate some new exercises.
Great, well I have just what you're going to need for that. I have a great plan in mind for you, so let's get started.
Great.
The first one we're going to do is called a moving plank. Now, a lot of people have seen the traditional planks, which look like this. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes.
And then we have this one too, a little bit easier. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to go from our hands, hand, and then down. So I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to put it where my elbow was, and then go up, and then my elbow goes where my hand was, and then I'm back down. So there's that way, or you can do it on the knees if that's a little bit too much. Sometimes when people have back problems or any type of abdominal surgeries or anything like that, or they're just a little out of shape, it can be a little bit difficult to do the ones on the feet right away. So you can go ahead and try the ones on the feet and just see how you feel. And if you need to, you can certainly drop down to your knees.
Great.
So we're gonna be flexing the feet on the toes. Perfect. How do you feel there?
Feel
Not
good
too bad?
here. Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and drop down one elbow and then the other, and then the same order on the way back. So right hand and then left. Perfect. So we're gonna do it as a little circle here. So it's left, left, right, 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 left, left. Like keep it in the same sequence. There you go. Perfect. Yep, so if you move the left, then move the left, etc. So go ahead and do about 5 of those for me.
So I want to alternate right, left, and then...
We're actually gonna do all one way and then all the other.
Okay.
So what I usually tell people is to just go ahead and start doing it, and I call that your favorite way. And then the other way will be your non-favorite way, which is a nice way of saying that it's just hard to do, right? So you can do a few more just like that. You're doing great. See if you can drop your hips a little bit lower to the ground. We want to keep those nice and flat. Perfect. Nice. Good. All right, let's do one more that direction. So you're going left first. Okay, you can take a short break. Okay, shake the arms out a little bit. Now we're going to try to do 4 of them the other way. So you're going to lead with the right side and then the left. Perfect. So right elbow down first. Exactly. Yep, and then not everybody has a side that they definitely prefer, but for the people that do, it can be a lot harder to do the other way. And you want to make sure that you do that, because otherwise you're going to strengthen one side of your body that much more, and then your side's going to get too uneven. Okay. How you doing? Okay. Good. Let's do one more. Nice. Good work. All right, you can relax. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do little pairs of exercises, the 2 exercises with the 2 sets. So there's going to be another one, and it's going to be side plank dips. So I'll show you that one, and then we'll go ahead and do the first one again. So side plank. Once again, we have this way, which is how people start out. If that isn't too bad, what you can do is dip your hip and then press it up. Okay, now this one is the same thing. You can do it, you can always do it on your knees as well. So those are the 2 ways to do that exercise. And go ahead and pick a side because we'll be doing both anyway. Start with whichever. So you're going to be right on your elbow and your feet are going to be stacked. Okay, and then just go ahead and push yourself up there and make sure that your legs stay nice and straight.
Okay, so my hand is on the mat?
You can do that to start lifting up, yeah. Good. Okay, now can you place your hand on your hip? Is that going to work? Good. Okay, so let's see if we can dip the hip toward the mat and then press it back up again.
Do I rest it down?
You really don't want to rest during my workout at all. So, good question, but no. So you want to tap and then come back up, or don't even go that far. But it's basically about the dipping action. So dipping your hip down and then pressing it up. Nice job. Try to pull your head back so it's in line with your spine. Good work. Go ahead and switch sides. Or do you feel a stretch in your side when you do that one?
No.
Not really?
Where I feel it.
Your hips must be fairly flexible then.
Okay,
So these ones are really good for your waist, keeping the muscles there nice and strong. Good. Just try to pull your head back so it is all the way lined up with the rest of you. You can imagine that there's a straight line down the middle of your mat. You want every part of your body to be over that line. Good.
Okay. Great.
So it definitely takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
But that was great. So what we're gonna do now, it's called a superset when we do the second set right away. So if I were to give you the first exercise, the plank, and said to do 2 sets, you would need to rest, right? I mean, you can't just do them together, otherwise it would be 1 set.
Right.
So instead of just standing there and resting, we're gonna do the next exercise, okay? The next exercise uses different muscles, so you can actually do that, and you're gonna continue to work your cardiovascular system, but yet let the muscles that we worked on the first exercise relax a little bit.
Right.
It's a lot more time efficient because instead of standing there and waiting to do the second set, you're doing something else. And that's gonna allow you to get through the workout much more quickly.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and go back to the first one, the one that you go onto your elbows, the moving plank. So elbow goes where your hand was. Good. And up. Perfect. So this time she's leading with the right. She keeps mixing it up on me. But I'll remember what she did. Try to keep your hips lower to the ground. Yeah. And keep them there as you go down. They just popped up a little bit. Okay, so go ahead and drop down for me. Drop your elbow down. Yep. Okay. Yep, and right here. Now flatten your hips. More. That's flat. I know it doesn't feel like it, but that's gonna work your belly the most, okay?
Okay.
So now you can go back up into the push-up and let's try the left side first. Good. And just keep working those hips. They're gonna wanna pop up because your hip flexors, everyone's, are stronger than your abs. It's just the way humans are built. So you've gotta remember that tip. Keep those hips nice and low. That's better. Good job. Let's do one more cycle. Perfect. All right, that's good. We can go right into our side plank and do that one again.
Okay. So starting with the side that I began with.
That would be best, yeah, because that way you have the even amount of rest after each. So she's gonna put her elbow, her hip, and her heels as if they're on one straight line across her mat. Try to pull the head back so it's back there with everything else, and then we're gonna lift up and down.
And my legs stay straight?
Yes, if you choose the straight-legged one, that's what you want to do. If it's too much, we can always do it with bent legs. If you do it with bent legs, you've got to pull your knees back in line with your hips though. So let me just do a little demo for you. So it's like this.
Okay, got
Right,
it.
like that.
The feet are behind.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you doing that kind? You
I'll
wanna
try
try
and
it?
see how it feels. Yeah.
So when you do this kind too, it's easier in a way, but it's actually harder on your abs. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. So I do like to alternate them and do both types. So go ahead and bend your legs just a little bit more. Good. Yep, and that's perfect. So we're gonna dip up and down. Also, your elbow should be right underneath your shoulder. Right now, it's a little too far past. Good. Yep, nice. So this one, for some people, they feel more of an ab workout. For some people, they do feel that it's easier. What do you think?
Where do I feel it? Feel it almost here?
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Go ahead and switch sides. So you get knees, hips, elbows are all on that nice straight line. The feet are in the back. And we're gonna try the dips up and down.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're doing fine. Perfect. Just keep pushing your hips forward as you do the move because they're gonna wanna drift back. Exactly. Good. Good, and you can do one more. Great job. So those two are a nice way to also warm up a little bit before we get into some of the more joint-specific exercises. The next one is a great way to start working your legs and shoulders, and it's called the broomstick squat. You've got to have a broomstick at your house, right? Everyone does.
Nice.
So we have this. This is actually my exercise broomstick. I it was kind of gross to have my cleaning broomstick for this because it's gonna be over my head and I don't really need a shower of all that stuff. So we're gonna hold this and then we're gonna do a nice wide squat. Now what we're gonna try to do is bend our legs with keeping the stick right above your head. So this doesn't look like much, but just the act of holding this broomstick in this position, most people are gonna wanna be here. So holding that there can be a lot, and then we're just gonna add the squat here. And if you end up getting super strong, you can definitely trade this out for a barbell, maybe a 5 or 10 pound one to start out. But the broomstick is usually plenty for most people when they first try. So you can go ahead and step here. You're gonna hold that. You wanna hold it a little bit wider than your shoulders. Okay, straight arms. Let's check the starting position first. Looks pretty good. Go ahead and try the squat. Nice. So the idea is to sink the hips as low as we can without tipping the broomstick forward. Some people will do this with a chair behind them if they're unsure of the balance. She looks pretty good. I don't think she needs that, but that's always an option if you're a little leery of trying this, not knowing how your balance is gonna be. So the idea is we wanna keep our weight over the foot even. That means not just over the toe, not just over the heel, but evenly throughout that. Try to make your left and right legs work as about the same. A lot of people have a favorite leg that they might favor. Looks good. Let's do 2 more of these. Okay. Nice. Now I'm just gonna test something here. I'm gonna take the stick away from you. Show me, you can put your arms on your hips, just normal. Okay, try a squat now. Do you think that's easier than the broomstick? Without it, or?
I mean, it is, but that didn't add a lot more effort, and I think it would pay off.
Okay. So let's see how deep you can go in your squat without the stick. Try another one. Okay, now we're gonna try one more thing. All right, I'm gonna have you hold on to my hand and I'm gonna help support you. So go ahead and drop down. More, more, more. So see how low she can go? This is really the goal, okay? You can come up. I'm not saying you should be doing that now, but you've got to get used to that balance of being able to squat down without tipping over.
Right.
A lot of that's your stomach muscles, okay? Now, theoretically, it's easier to do that when you don't have your arms way up here, right? So this is, the broomstick one will be harder to get that depth.
Okay.
But for you, I think I would warm up with a set without the broomstick, just because you can really work the depth of the move.
So rather than having my hands on my hips, is there something I can use as a tool to hold on to instead of your hands?
Definitely, you can hold on to a railing, or you can just do the move with the arms in front. So that will help counterbalance you too.
Okay.
Okay. But then the ultimate goal would be to get to that depth with the stick.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so a lot of it I think is just you probably have a little bit tight calves, just if you haven't been stretching them, which is completely normal. But the broomstick makes it harder for you to keep your balance without doing some of the compensation stuff like holding something.
Okay.
But at the same time, holding something isn't terrible if you need that to get back into things a bit. So I would say first set, no broomstick, second set, you can add it in.
Great.
And what the nice thing about the broomstick is it's gonna work your shoulder mobility too, all at the same time. So for a time-efficient workout, it's important to be able to do that.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and do the next one in this pair, and it's called curtsy squats. So what we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna face this way so we have, well, let me actually start in front of the mat. So we're gonna step back and cross, oops, and then other side. Okay, so this little bit slippery, but we'll make do. So it's behind. The arms can be out for balance. If you get a little bit more confident, you can keep them on your hips. So just like that. I'm just gonna step on this to make sure that it doesn't go sliding. Go ahead. It shouldn't, it's just.
Okay, so both hands starting
yeah.
here.
So yep, arms either on your hips or out to the side. So you're gonna step behind and bend the legs, perfect. And then other side. Now try a little bit of a larger step back. So you really feel your hips stretching more, good. She's got really good posture in these, which is awesome. You'll notice her chest is up, she's not bending forward at the waist. Balance is great. Nice. How old is your son?
2.5.
Oh. So definitely you want to be able to keep up with all his antics, huh?
Right. Strengthen
Yeah.
my body to keep up with him.
Exactly. And like little boys are definitely gonna push the envelope.
Very active.
You can do one more on each side. So this is really good. So actually, I think you could probably consider even holding weights. This is probably a 5 in each hand would work because you look pretty good on that. We're gonna go back to this one and try another set of that. Let's even try a little bit of a wider stance. That looks good. So think of sticking your butt back. Yeah, so she's got it now. So even just that little test with me showing her what we're going for gave her the confidence to really go for that position. You are tipping the broomstick forward a little bit, so really keep working that back. Nice. So this isn't one we want to really load up. You wouldn't need to go more than probably 20 or 30 pounds above your head. This is more of a mobility squat. Yeah, it's strengthening you, but it's not the place where you want to show off and lift 100 pounds. And for most people, that isn't really necessary anyway. But what is necessary is to keep our mobility up throughout the years so that we can do all the stuff we want to do. So this is great for that. You can do last 2 of those. Nice. Wonderful. Okay, that was great, much better. All right, so let's go ahead and do the curtsy squat again. Okay, step behind one. And that one you can actually start feet touching. Let me just check how she's doing her twist, if it's even. You could probably do just a little more of a lateral step. Really emphasizing that twist, yep. Good. So you want to feel your hips are being stretched. You obviously don't want to torque your knee. If your foot can't stay flat, then you can peel it back a little bit. But it's definitely something that you're trying to step to the side. Nice. And there's a balance tip. She doesn't appear to really need a lot of help, but my tip is to look on the floor about 5 feet in front of you and keep your eyes there. If you do that, you're gonna feel a lot more in control even as your body's moving. Because we don't want our eyes to be moving all around, that's gonna throw us off. And like I said, she could probably handle some small weights. If you don't have weights at home, gallon jugs or bottles of laundry detergent are usually 4-ish pounds, which is a good start, especially on something like this exercise. You can do 1 more on each side. Yeah, wrenches can quite often weigh a good amount. You can find something. Sometimes I'll use other bottles like juices. I've been known to use wine bottles before. You just don't want to drop those, right? Because that's no fun at all. We don't want to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and do some more with the arms next. This is a plyo push-up. So push-ups, everybody seems to know what those are. I'm gonna show the kind on the knees. What we're gonna do instead of the normal one like this is we're gonna add a little something to it. So we're gonna try to clap, okay? Now I said try, so if you can't clap, what you would do is you would see if you can even just get off the floor, even an inch like that, okay? So you can definitely start by just doing a normal one, and I'll make sure that you are definitely gonna be able to do this. So go ahead and cross your heels. Yep, nice. Let's see.
Is that the right form?
Yep, looks good. There you go, yeah, that's fine. Yep, perfect. Okay, let's do 2 more like that, and I'm gonna give you a little tip. All right, so what I want you to do now is lie all the way flat to the mat. Okay, and we're gonna bend the legs just like you were. So let's pretend we're at the bottom of your push-up. Okay, we're gonna cross that. So feel how your hips are flat, like you're lying on the ground. We wanna try to keep them flat throughout the push-up. Okay, so there was a point when you started doing this with your body. This isn't flat, this is bent, right?
Right.
So you wanna do it like this at all times, not like this. So that's the only thing that I can say about that that could be a little bit better. So one way to do that is to squeeze your butt super hard. That's gonna help, okay? So why don't you try another 3?
I'll try it maybe without the clapping, just to get the form.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So cross my leg, my ankles.
Flatten out your hips. Keep them flat, good. So you can feel that makes a lot more weight in your arms, right?
Right.
Okay, and in your abs too. Good. And last one. So that makes all the difference right there. So you can probably work with the normal push-ups for a little while before we move on to the clapping ones, just to make sure that you've got that form.
Great.
So we're gonna do now a butterfly crunch. Oh, actually no. I got a little ahead of myself. We're gonna try the kneeling press. So we're gonna be like this, we're holding the weight, pushing up and then down with the arm. Then we're gonna try the opposite, like that. All right, so before we get going with that, I'm gonna have you take this weight and just show me if you can do this. Okay. Not too bad. Okay. So go ahead and kneel and you can try it. Does it feel any harder to do it in the kneeling position?
No, about the same.
Okay. Go ahead and keep pushing. So people that don't have a lot of background in athletic stuff would find the kneeling position to be a lot harder. She does have that, so she is probably fine. Just try to pull this way back by your ear. Good. And you can do a couple more. Nice. Perfect. You can switch arms. Let's see how this arm is.
And legs stay the same.
Yes. Okay. We'll switch some on the second side. And again, just pulling it back just a little more. Nice. Very good. Perfect. All right, we're gonna go ahead and switch to the second set on this one. I'll give you credit for the 2 sets of push-ups.
All right.
I think we did enough of those.
Okay, so left foot forward, but then start with my right
Yes.
arm. Okay.
Let me know if you feel a difference between which leg is in front. Good. That's pretty strong. Let's go ahead and switch. So with this exercise, you can do the first set with one leg in front and the second set the other. You don't need to do all 4 ways of each time each set. That's not necessary. So what this does is it makes your core do a lot of the work as you're doing the press. You can do one more. And somebody that doesn't have a nice strong core is gonna have a ton of problems with this exercise. I know people that can do 30 pounds standing up and they can only do a 5 kneeling. It's really dramatic.
Because of your core strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you're not used to being able to balance your body while you're doing something else, it's almost like, you know, patting your head and rubbing your stomach. It's one of those, it depends a lot on your coordination too, but this exercise is really nice again because it does 2 things in one, which is really nice. We're going to go now to some abs. So we're gonna do butterfly crunch. And that's gonna be soles of the feet touching, okay? What that does is it disengages our hip flexors and makes our abs do all of the work. So your hands go behind your neck and you're gonna lift up and then back down again. Just like that. Go ahead and give that a try. Try pulling your heels just a little closer to your hips. Good. Nice. Now keep your eyes on the ceiling and try to lift your chin up so your chin is the highest thing that lifts. Still, it isn't the highest thing. Right now your forehead is. That's better. That's good, right there. Perfect. Nice change. Now what that does is it makes your belly do more of the work and less of your neck. We don't want our neck to get all big and muscular. We want the stomach to have all that strength benefit. So that's a great correction on the crunches. A lot of people will start pulling their head and their chin goes down. Not good. You want to keep that neck nice and open. You should always be able to put a fist in between your chin and your chest. And it's hard to know if that's going on if it's you doing it, but you can see here, fist can fit right in there. Perfect, that's great. She can do 2 more of those. Very good. Okay, so the pair with that one is gonna be calf raises, and we're gonna do this in a yoga position that's kind of popular. It's called the downward dog, so we're like this. Now what we're gonna do is turn the toes out, and then we're gonna go up and down, like that, and then we're gonna turn the toes in and do the same thing. Go ahead and give that a shot.
Now I have trouble here putting my feet all the way down.
Okay.
Is there a modification for this one?
Well, you know what? Let's actually start by doing the regular downward dog so I can check that. Can we make the feet closer to the hands? Now I want you to take some deep breaths and I want you to push your shoulders towards your feet. Okay, so it's okay if your heels don't touch for this exercise, but if you do have tightness, I suggest hanging out in this position for 30 to 60 seconds before you start the calf raise. And you might need to rest after doing that before you actually go ahead and do the calf raise. But there's nothing that's gonna help this tightness better than actually doing the exercise. So in this case, rather than modify, I would wanna actually spend more time in the position.
Okay.
And it's not wrong if you can't get your heels down, it's just that you wanna know what we're working for. So go ahead and take a little break. Now you'll probably find that when you turn your toes out, you'll actually find it's easier to get those.
Okay.
So that will be nice. So let's start with that one. So toes out, heels together, and you're gonna go up and down. Good. Yeah, so you're already closer with the feet that way, which is very common. So you just wanna keep thinking about pushing your armpits towards your feet, and even your head towards your feet too. Good. And that's what's gonna get you there over time, is that upper body action pushing down. Great job. Now you can try doing toes together, heels apart. Let's see how that is. Probably tighter. That's okay though. You stick, as long as you can move your heels up and down, it's gonna work. Nice job. Perfect. Okay, you can take a little break. And we can go back to the crunches. Look at that, she remembered everything I said. And I like the 2 sets too, because a lot of times after the first set, you kind of just are getting into it, and by the second set, you know what to expect, you know how it's gonna feel, and you can really focus on working those muscles. Sometimes too, the second set actually feels easier because your muscles are more warmed up and they're ready for it. She's doing a great job not pulling and tugging at her head, because that's a very common mistake people will make. So that's great, the elbows are nice and open, perfect. And if you have back pain ever with crunches, this is usually a good option. For most people, it feels better. The other option is you can put your feet up on top of a couch or a chair and literally let your calves hang out on that surface, and that can take some of the pressure off too. Your back gets stronger with crunches, but you have to find a way to do it without pain. That's good. Hailey, you can come out of that one, and let's go back to the downward dog. So the extra time in the stretch is really only necessary for the first set. She should be a little bit more limbered up already by the second set, but you definitely can keep that deep breathing going to help your muscles relax. Nice. Look at that, she's already getting more stretchy. You can do one more like that, and then we'll switch the feet. Sometimes the toes will drift apart a little bit while you're doing the exercise. You just go ahead and move them right back close to each other again, if that happens. And you can do 2 more. Nice, perfect. All right, so that's it. That's all 8 of them. I know.
Great.
And we did the 16 sets. We did them all twice. Okay, so it should take 25 minutes maybe not even, depending how many reps you can do. In general, starting with 5 to 10 reps is fine. You want to work your way up to maybe 20, 25 for everything. And if you get even stronger than that, you probably have to start another type of routine. There's no point in doing 100 reps or something. That means that it's just too easy for you, basically.
Okay.
So once you get to the 30 rep level, it's time to move forward.
Great.
Do you have any questions about the workout?
Would you do this daily, every other day?
That's a great question. This is a type of workout, it is a full body workout, so it really is sufficient to do it 3 times a week.
Okay.
So if you have additional time, what I would do is I would do some cardio or some yoga on the other days.
Great.
Maybe for the other 2 days, and then 1 to 2 days of complete rest would be besides your like crazy life, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But the formal exercise stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I like too about full body routines is it allows you to have a life outside of it. Whereas if you think like, oh, I'm gonna work my arms on Monday and my legs on Tuesday and my abs on Wednesday and my chest on Thursday, it's like, it's too much for most people, I think. So a routine like this is very, very efficient, but yet it's also very powerful. Works in your mobility a little bit too. Anything else?
I'm really happy with it. I think it's challenging, but it's manageable, and
Sweet.
yeah, I'm excited to try it out at home.
Oh, great. All right, so we're gonna cover the Twitter question that we got for this month. The question is, what healthy foods can I add to my diet rather than just think about foods I have to take out of my diet? So we were talking, and you actually thought this was a good question. Have you ever looked at diet plans and thought about trying them, or have you tried them?
I'm generally turned off by diet plans. I
Okay.
feel like they can often be extreme.
Yeah.
And just from my own experience, I feel like I can be diligent for a day and then go the other way, other extreme.
Okay.
So I would love some tips things that I can put into my diet,
Yeah.
and maybe some manageable things to take out.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's really important to find things that work for you and for your life, and that you can make the changes without it feeling so like it changes everything about the way you live. You want it to be something that fits. So I like to start out by just asking people, what is a typical day like for you? Tell me what you eat first thing in the morning.
So ideally, it'll be I wake up and have fruit, maybe a smoothie.
Okay, stop. What do you eat? What do you eat? Like now, not ideally.
I would say, okay, no, that's true. So let me think. I do start the day most days with a smoothie.
Okay.
And then from there it kind of goes down.
So what is in this concoction?
So usually frozen fruit, bananas, Greek yogurt,
Okay.
and usually almond milk.
Okay. How much Greek yogurt?
For 2 smoothies, I usually use about a 6-ounce container of
Okay.
yogurt, the individual Greek yogurts.
Okay.
1 banana, bunch of frozen fruit, and then almond milk.
Okay. And then what happens next with food?
Usually I'm hungry after that, pretty soon after that, so maybe a hard-boiled egg,
Okay.
ideally, but often it's a piece of toast.
Okay.
And
And are you at home grabbing this, or?
usually, yeah, so I have a smoothie at home,
Okay.
and I leave sometimes on average around 8 in the morning,
Okay.
so sometimes something I can grab for both my son and myself that we can eat in the car, almost like a second breakfast. So
Gotcha.
either a hard-boiled egg or a piece of toast with peanut butter.
Okay. And then after that?
So the schedule is a little off, I would say, during the day with
Okay.
my son's nap, and when he eats lunch, sometimes it's before his nap or after. So I often don't eat a solid, balanced lunch.
Okay.
Sometimes it's picking, sometimes it's having just snacks.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a frozen burrito. So I don't make
Yeah.
too much time for lunch.
Okay. And then after lunch, before dinner?
Snacking, also sometimes cheese and bread, or pita and hummus on my way out the door to run errands.
Okay. And then how does dinner go usually?
Try to do a balanced dinner.
Okay.
Greens, we eat a lot of tofu at the house.
Okay.
Some sort of grain. Try to steer away from a lot of pasta, but sometimes it is
Yeah.
pasta and sauce. So if I can find out things that I can incorporate to make it a more balanced meal, maybe good proteins or good combinations of foods to make
Okay.
a whole protein.
Now, are you a vegetarian?
No.
You just eat like one?
Yeah, I guess I do. I didn't mention a lot of meat in that one.
I probably just because it's a little bit almost like easier, or just, I don't know, you can like stock up on the stuff.
Right, you can have like tofu in the
Like
fridge.
you don't want to have
right.
like 3-week-old chicken breasts like
Yeah.
for dinner, right? It's just.
We do meat too though. We do
You do.
like try to do like tacos every Tuesday just to
Okay.
kind of keep like a routine of something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the first thing there's a few things that stand out to me. One thing is, even though you're having that Greek yogurt in your smoothie, there's not a ton of protein there. And the more protein you can have at breakfast, the less appetite you're gonna have the rest of the day, as far as the picking and the snacking stuff.
Okay.
So for a lot of people that are vegan or vegetarian, vegan, or are just regular eaters, I suggest a scoop of protein powder on top of that.
Okay.
Because that's really gonna increase your satisfaction level from that smoothie. And if you still need that second, so any powder really would be fine. You just wanna make sure that it doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates.
Okay.
So you can read the labels. Anything that has 5 grams or less is gonna be great.
Great.
So that's good. If you do have to grab a next snack to have, you know, in the car and things like that, the protein stuff is the best. So like a cheese stick, like one of those mozzarella things, the egg is good. There's protein bars you can get. I'm not a huge proponent of protein bars, but they can do in a pinch. The toast is nice to have, but it's really not helping with some of the blood sugar highs and lows that it sounds like you're experiencing. If you feel like you need to grab snacks like every 2 hours, your blood sugar's all over the place. I mean, unless you're like a marathon runner or something, you might need that. But if you're not, it's a sign that things aren't quite balanced.
Right.
Even like a handful of nuts would be better for you than the carbohydrate stuff.
Great.
Okay? It really helps when you can make your lunch a little bit more substantial, even if it means you have some vegetables that you just steamed or whatever, something like quick like that. But like salads are okay, but sometimes they're not really as satisfying, especially if you're gonna have more of that at dinner.
Right.
So I think some hot veggies work really well. Sweet potatoes, red potatoes can be really filling, and they have the type of starch that isn't as offensive for the blood sugar. You can just pop one in the microwave. You can put potatoes right there. It doesn't have to be like a ridiculous thing to make like at lunch, because I know people are busy. You don't want to like sit down and make this 2-hour meal. So that kind of stuff is really helpful. Like, think of natural. Like, do I know what it is by looking at it? You look at a broccoli floret and you're like, that's broccoli. But you look at a burrito and you're like, I'm really not sure what this is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the more natural, not to say you can't have a burrito, it's just you want to base your diet around natural stuff.
Great.
The dinner sounds pretty good. I mean, you definitely want to have variety. But I also encourage you, like, so I listed some snacks. I listed nuts. The fruits can be good. It sounds like you already get a lot in the smoothie, but raw veggies, you know, carrot sticks with salsa is a nice one. Sugar snap peas, raw, like things you can just grab. You want to think when you're doing the snacking and the grazing stuff, am I hungry or am I just bored or stressed?
And that happens more later on after dinner.
Yeah.
So even after I know I've had a balanced meal and I shouldn't be hungry,
Yeah.
that's like, okay, so let me get some work done. What can I do to get excited about this?
Exactly.
Grab a bag of chips. or
Absolutely.
something.
So you're like doing the work and snacking the chips and it's a whole thing. But, you know, then you find that you're not where you want to be health-wise and fitness-wise
Right.
sometimes. So if you can train yourself to go for the snacks that are more natural, then you're gonna be like, I don't really know if I want to even bother with my carrot sticks. These are kind of like, ugh.
I'm really not hungry.
You know that you're really not. And it is training yourself, just like you'd train your child. If he wants cupcakes every hour, you're not gonna give it to him. So you kind of have to train yourself in the same way.
Okay.
All right?
Great.
Sound good?
Thank you.
All right. Let me know how it goes.
Well,
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.